Hello, everyone. I'm so excited today because it is the day where we are beginning Module 4 of our L curriculum. And I know that I get super excited about these modules, and so I hope that you do too. I know that you do, actually, because I've seen the awesome work you've done in all of them. So, the first thing I want to do is we're going to look at our learning target for the day. So, our big learning target that we're going to be working on today is just one of these. We're going to be working on this one right here. I can infer the topic of this module from quotes. I can infer the topic. This should look familiar for you because at the first lesson of every single module, we've inferred the topic. You don't know what the topic is. You know we're reading this Hope Chest book. Do you know what it's about yet? Do you know the topic? So today we're going to be able to infer the topic. So first things first, before we jump into the activity, I want you to see this I notice and I wonder note catcher. So sometimes you're going to have the actual documents that look like this, and sometimes it'll be in other formats just because we're not at school. So this time, instead of you actually typing in or writing into the I notice and I wonder, we're going to be using this Ed puzzle, which you're watching this video on, and it'll pause you automatically. And when it pauses you, you'll type in something you notice and something you wonder before you can keep watching the video. We're going to do the first one together, so be ready. What we're going to be doing is we're looking at about 10 resources, and we're going to be inferring the topic. So you'll see the resource. It'll either be a quote or a picture. And once you see that quote or picture and you've had time to really study it and think about it, you'll write down something you notice about that and something you wonder. Okay, remember, notice is something you see. Wonder is a question that you have after. All right, so let's jump in. I'm going to switch to this tab. And here we go. So remember, we're inferring the topic. So we're inferring the topic by looking at these quotes and pictures. And there are about 10 of them. Okay, so you're going to notice and wonder about 10 different things. So here we go. Number 1. We're going to do this one together. So it's not going to stop and pause. It'll stop and pause after number 2. So number 1 says, American women regained the right to vote in 1920. 113 years after they lost it. And this was by Karen in the Hope Chest. This is a quote from the book in the Hope Chest. So American women regained the right to vote in 1920, 113 years after they lost it. If this were one you were doing on your own, the video would pause and you would then tell me something you notice and something you wonder. But we're doing this one together. So something that I notice is that women regained. Regained means they gained it again. So they got their voting back in 1920, 113 years after they lost it. I notice that it says regained, and I wonder, why did they lose the right to vote 113 years ago? I don't know. So now we're going to do the second one. Those would be the 2 things I would write in the box. I notice, I see the word regained, so they got it back. And I wonder why they lost it 113 years ago. All right, number 2. Freeing both women and African Americans seem to be 2 parts of the same goal. Something you notice, something you wonder. Freeing both women and African Americans seem to be 2 parts of the same goal. Go. All right, number 3. No Southern state gave women full voting rights. No Southern state gave women full voting rights. Something you notice, something you wonder. Go. All right, I want to talk about this one for a second. A Southern state, North Carolina is a Southern state. And it says no Southern state gave full women voting rights. So that means that the Southern states, the states in the South, didn't give women voting rights. That's pretty sad. All right, number 4. 1777. Women lose the right to vote in New York. 1777. Women lose the right to vote in New York. What do you notice? What do you wonder? Go. All right, number 5. 1965. The Voting Rights Act eliminates so-called literacy tests, which had been used to keep African Americans from voting in some southern states. Something you notice, something you wonder. I noticed that it's 1965 and everyone's not been able to vote. Go. Number 6. Public facilities were segregated throughout the South. Public facilities were segregated. Remember, the word segregated means separated. Public facilities were separated or segregated throughout the South. Something you notice, something you wonder. Expand your brain here. Be creative. Ask a good question and you're wondering. Go. All right, so now we're moving on to the picture. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this picture. So this is number 7. And it says headquarters, opposed to women's suffrage. I see it looks like a bunch of men standing here. I'm starting to give you some things that you could write down. I can't read that little part. It's like an old storefront, maybe? I don't know. Let's read this caption underneath. It says, this is Harrison Ewing, National Anti-Suffrage Association. Anti-suffrage. So what do we think? Something you notice, something you wonder. Go. Oh, before we move on, I notice that it says opposed to women's suffrage, and it's all men standing here. So these men don't like women, or at least want them to have rights, right? All right, number 8, another picture. It says this is the first picket line. So let's zoom in a little bit and try to read some of this. It says, I can't tell what it is, but I can tell it's women. And I can tell that they're wanting the right to vote. And it looks like from this fence that they might be in Washington, D.C. Does it tell us down here? It doesn't tell us, but that kind of looks like the front of the White House. So something you notice, something you wonder. Go. All right, number 9. This one is another photo. Let's read the caption. It says, it's the Farm Security Administration Office of War Information, Railroad Station in Georgia. So we'll zoom back in. It's a railway station in Georgia. I see men. Okay, pause here, or it'll pause you. Something you notice, something you wonder. Go. All right, the last one. We've got this. This is number 10. Number 10, it says, Bubbly Esther for the Farm Security Administration Office of War Information. A Greyhound bus trip from Louisville, Kentucky to Memphis, Tennessee, and the terminals. Waiting for the bus at the Memphis terminal. So I'm going to zoom in here. So something you notice, something you wonder. I see a lot of women. It's very crowded. I'm giving you answers again. I need to stop. Something you notice and wonder. Go. Okay, so now that you have done that, let's jump back over here. So you have now inferred the topic or done the resources, right? So now the last question I'm asking you is, what do you think this module is going to be about? So you're thinking right now, what is this module going to be about? You've had time to look closely at these images, you've thought about them, you've noticed and you've wondered. So now when this video pauses next, your last task is to tell me, what is the topic of this module? Go. Okay, So we're not quite done yet, but you're almost done. So now this is introducing your performance task of this module. So remember, your performance task is the very end. And so now we're going to notice and wonder about this performance task. My dog is crying, but he's okay. So this performance task. So let's zoom on in here. See if I can. And let's look closely at it. So the performance task is telling us that now that you've carried out a project taking action on an issue in your community, you are going to share the project and its impact with the world by writing a press release. In your press release, you will describe the need you saw in your community, how your project addressed this need, and the impact of the project. Your press release will answer the following question: how did we take action to make a difference in our community? Your press release will include an introduction that summarizes the project, proof paragraphs that give specific details about the project, such as the need in the community, quotes from key people, and the connections to current events, and a conclusion that restates the project. So these are all things that you know. You know how to write in that format, but the difference word is press release. So I think the important up here, it says in your press release, you will describe the need you saw in your community. Is there something in your community that is struggling? Think about it. There's lots of things that in the world right now that need help. And so what is something that you could write about that describes the need? So now, what do you notice and what do you wonder? I'm not going to make you write this time. I just want you to think. And then does this change anything that you've made about your inference about the module so far? Does your topic change? So now let's jump to these guiding questions. The first one says, what can we learn from the process of ratifying the 19th Amendment? What's the 19th Amendment? What does the word ratifying mean? How can stories inspire us to take action to contribute to a better world? How can a story make us want to make the world better? How and why can we encourage and support others to contribute to a better world? How and why can we encourage and support others to contribute to a better world? Okay, so now's the big moment. I'm going to tell you your full topic. So hopefully you've had some good ideas in your head. And so now we're going to find out. So in Module 4, there's my drum roll for you. If we were in class, we'd all do it together. Do it with me if you want. In Module 4, we are going to be learning about the 19th Amendment. This amendment allowed women to gain the right to vote. So we are learning all about how women gained the right to vote and the fight that they went through and how different the world was back then. And this is the 19th Amendment. The 19th Amendment is when women were allowed to vote. You'll also be responding to inequalities. What do you think inequality means? Go. All right, inequality. We know the word inequality means, well, let's use our context clues. In means not, and then I started the word equal. So not equal. So this module will also be about responding to inequalities, things that are not equal, things that are different, that shouldn't be. Okay, so if you had one answer similar to that, good job. So I hope you're excited as I am about this module. I think it'll be super fun. Thank you for participating in this ed puzzle today. I hope you had fun looking at all of those quotes and looking at the photos and going back to our noticing and wonderings. It kind of probably felt like we were in class a little bit again, I hope. So good luck on the rest of this module. I'll see you later.